Even with a Trump loss, the news at large is still Donald Trump. Donald Trump just won't give in. And why is it Donald Trump doesn't feel the necessity to give in? Because he has his posse. Over 70 million people that still believe in him because they believe what he says. And then over the weekend, I was listening to one of the MSNBC shows, and there was Heather McGee. Why are these people listening to him? And she hit the nail on the head. Check this out, and then let's take it on the other side.
Just going to say, Jonathan is so right there. And let's be very clear why we could get to a 77% of Donald Trump voters who believe this lie. First of all, it's because of nearly a decade of Republican donors, litigators, lawsuits, think tanks trying to undermine voter protections with this lie about voter fraud, right? Donald Trump was not the first one. He doesn't have a new idea in his head. It came from the right wing. And we saw it sort of move and try to substantiate claims that we need to have a photo ID requirement, as if people are going to risk going to jail to vote twice in an election where it's very difficult to get people, to have the kinds of things that they need to be able to vote. Second of all, this is clearly about race. Like, I want to be very clear. In the white imagination, there is a very quick transition from, when you see a person of color and you think criminal. And that's not because of something, that happens in the white mind by itself, right? That's something that has been a story that has been sold over generations in this country and is hammered in nightly rhetoric on, Fox News and in the right-wing media, right? So the idea that a citizen would do something illegal by casting a ballot only can travel. That idea can only travel in grooves that have already been laid out by racism. So that's why the majority of white voters who support Donald Trump think that, sure, people in Detroit, they must be criminal. They're black. They could do something illegal by voting as American citizens. And that's the thing we have to tackle.
And I love the way she said the message. The message, she points out that these are all learned behaviors and calculations in the way they put it out. She was sort of, I don't think she was complete in one particular area. She said, the right wing puts out the messages that people are color or criminals or that sort of thing. But I am a bit more, I think it's much stronger than that. I think you watch the local news every day. And in local news, you have a preponderance of people of color committing crimes. And is that the truth? Is that is what merits the number of crimes you see on your daily news? A friend of mine, a long time ago, got into some issues, and they found out something interesting. They got himself a good lawyer. And when they went into that probation area, that second chance area, that part of society that never makes it on TV to say, I stabbed my wife, I choked my wife, I did something wrong. It never shows up on TV. But all those people were there. They were there. And they didn't look like him or others. They didn't look like the other. They didn't look like people of color. But they were never on TV. Nobody characterized those people with the crime. Humanity is humanity. Humans, believe it or not, irrespective of all those notions that are placed in you indirectly, subliminally, through the TV networks, etc. That's not the real world. Humanity is all the same. Now, Heather also talks about why would somebody who vote risk their life? Why would an undocumented person risk voting when they know that would be one entry for them to be found? Why would an undocumented person who eventually wants citizenship put their name in there where they can ultimately be found at that point looking for citizenship? Why would anybody commit voter fraud knowing the dangers that it has? The only people that do that are those who have an ulterior motive and absolutely know they have to. And you know who that tends to be, especially since they no longer can win the popular vote? Republican politicians. That is what we found. That is what's been documented. So, folks, Heather McGee had a very important message. And she claimed it is how the white mind was formed to see people of color, specifically the Trump voter, but others as well. And I think she did it just perfectly. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.